All right, enough about the offense, right? Let's talk about the best unit on the team, which is no slight to the 49ers offense, because the 49ers defense is arguably the best unit in the NFL on either side of the ball. So since week 9, and I use week 9 specifically, just knowing that trending metrics are going to tell us more about who these teams are. For example, the 49ers offense, they are leaps and bounds better since that time because they have Christian McCaffrey. Weeks 2, weeks 3, weeks 4, like all those early weeks, they don't tell us who these teams are. So, since week 9, the 49ers are first in EPA per play allowed, second in defensive success rate, first in dropback EPA per play allowed, first in dropback success rate. You just keep going down the line, down the line, down the line. As they continue to get healthier, this team becomes a problem. And there are a few reasons why, and we're going to talk about that today. First is they set the tone early. They play bully ball. So let's watch this. First, let's watch the top of the screen. And we're going to come back to this later because of the blown coverage that the 49ers had. This is how they would probably have wanted to play that, where Talanoa Hufanga just carries number 2 up the seam. And as you can see, Tayshaun Gibson is going to converge on him as well. The real reason the 49ers have success is because of the bully mentality that they play. So let's watch how they play in the trenches. Watch Azeez Al-Shaair coming, blitzing right here. The running back has to pick him up. Watch where the running back starts and watch where the running back finishes. So that knockback right there, it's like, whoa, this is what I'm going to have to deal with all game. And then you see inside, of course, you see Samson Ebukam get a win. You see Kevin Givens both on the right side here. They're just slanting and they're winning. And then all that, how does all of this happen? It's because I have arguably Defensive Player of the Year. He's second in the odds right now, but he'll get there. Nick Bosa. So DeMeco Ryans, defensive coordinator, in my opinion, best defensive coordinator in the NFL since last season. So I know that Tampa Bay is going to set their protection, set their strength to 97 because one-on-one, he is unblockable. So with that, how do I get around that? How do I just ensure that I get a free runner? By sliding their protection, you can see he's going that way. He's going that way. So this whole side of the line, they're sliding toward Nick Bosa, which common sense says, why wouldn't you? I'm going to slide that way. I'm going to bring a blitzer off the edge, knowing that. So I have an insane amount of talent, speed, physicality, and I'm going to use that all in one play. And we see that here. Ends up getting a free runner. Brady pumps, has nowhere to go. And that's how a lot of this game went, honestly. How do you continue to have success when Eric Armstead doesn't play for 2 months, when Javon Kinlaw has been out for the majority of the season, when Dre Greenlaw missed time, Azeez missed time, they've had Emmanuel Mosley's been out for, it seems like, 2 months as well. So they've had numerous injuries up front. You have to have your role players step up. You have to have your backups when they're one-on-ones, not as much as your stars, but occasionally, right? Enough to fill in those gaps. So here's Kerry Hyder. Second stint with the 49ers, essentially their 4th string defensive tackle. Here's T.Y. McGill, a practice squad guy who they've been elevating because they've been so banged up on the interior. Now, these two are going to have to play with Kevin Givens down, with Hassan Ridgeway down. We don't notice the injuries because these guys keep making plays. So let's watch the 2 defensive tackles. As you can see, they're in the backfield right now. The 49ers defensive line consistently plays on the other side of the line of scrimmage. When you do that, you win a lot. So you saw the defensive tackles. No Tristan Wirfs really hurt the Bucs. Watch him, and now he is stuck. This backup, this not Tristan Wirfs player, is now one-on-one with the best linebacker in the game. You see how that goes. Not going to work. So you get 3 guys winning on one play. On an inside run, you have the swarm. And they talk about this. DeMeco Ryans talks about getting everybody in the frame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think we got a couple on the bottom here too. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Honestly, just watching this whole film it's like a comedy. The way that they're beating up on the Bucs, but the swarm, the bully ball, this is a really fun unit to watch. And going back to that setting the tone, going back to that physicality, going back to being in Brady's face or any quarterback in general, consistently, this is what happens. So pressure affects you without having to get a spready here. So he's not fully stepping into his throws. He knows, hey, I've been hit. I'm not interested in that. And what happens? There's an errant throw. So Diamond Lenore to the top of the screen over definitely on Thursday against Seattle, but I feel like in the playoffs, teams are going to make him play ball. So he stepped it up in the last couple of games. He's going to have to continue that. But, I mean, this is really just the pressure. And this is the 49ers defense in a nutshell. So here we go. Third down. You know what you're going to get from D'Amico Ryans. You're going to get man coverage. You're going to get somebody blitzing. Talanoa Funga is probably going to be robbing, lurking, whatever you want to call it, in the middle of the field, trying to take away any crosser. We'll watch how it plays out. So for this to work, you have to have a competitive cornerback. And they have a very competitive cornerback in Mooney Ward to the bottom. So you have now a player who can match up against the opposition's number one receiver. That was not the case last year, and that, I feel like, is a reason why the 49ers have been much better defensively, at least on third downs anyway. So you see bottom of the screen, everybody's matched up. So now you have a guy who can run with Mike Evans. He's going to, as I said, take away either this or this. You have a linebacker who can carry Julio Jones down the field. So you don't really have to worry about giving him help, knowing that he is who he is. So this is a coverage sack to me. Jimmy Ward has been playing outstanding in the slot. Took him a little while to get used to it. But now he's running with Chris Godwin, and then you see Amador Lenore to the top of the screen. And then, of course, the pass rush, right? Pass rush is always going to be there. Bosa and Omenihu get there. It seems like the majority of the defensive line won that matchup. But on the back end, nowhere for Brady to go. The edge collapses the pocket. You have Bosa and Armstead inside. You have Greenlaw blitzing. That's actually a great blitz pickup by Leonard Fournette there on Greenlaw. But it doesn't matter. And again, Omenihu this season. He gets a lot of love on this play, and just in general, like, why wouldn't you? But 94 has been lights out, and arguably one of the better pass rushers in the NFL. Just from a numbers perspective, from a win percentage perspective, Omenihu's top 10. The downside, like the one quip you'd have with the 49ers defense is over the past month or so, the Chargers game, I believe they had a couple of big plays. I know one was called back. The same against the Saints. They had a couple of plays. The Bucs on this play specifically. The Dolphins didn't do anything except those two explosive plays that went for touchdowns. So the one critique that you would have with the 49ers defense is they do have their coverage busts on the back end. And when they do, it goes for a big play. So let's watch this play out. This is the touchdown, the quote-unquote touchdown that essentially didn't happen. But all this was a miscommunication. And here's what I see. I want to walk through this because I think it's important to know that this isn't sustainable, and that's why the score was 35-7 as opposed to 35-21. So this is what makes Talanoa Funga great, and this is why he's still a young player, like where he probably needs to grow. So instantly, Brady makes a check, and as soon as Brady makes his second check right there, you can see his right arm go up. He knows what's coming, and this is amazing that he's able to recognize. The issue is it's way too late in the play clock. He's going to tell Jimmy Ward, hey, I want you to do this. And remember the first play in this scenario where number 2 ran a vertical. Talanoa Funga was outside shade, and he ran with him. I imagine he's telling Ward to do the same thing where he's going to carry him. Mooney Ward is locked in man coverage here. So he's just trying to communicate Ward, hey, I need you to do this. They're so late in the play clock that Jimmy clearly doesn't get this check from Talanoa Funga. How do I know that? Because they're both doing the same thing. He goes to get a jam on Mike Evans, and then Jimmy Ward stays in the flat. So instantly, before the ball's even thrown, you have a flat defender here, you have a flat defender here. In no defense will you see that. So there's a bust. Ideally, Talanoa Funga, look, he goes to take his job because I think he realizes he never got the check. And instead, you get the big play. So it was a slot fade, a simple route concept that every team does against the 49ers. Talanoa Hufanga tried to make a check. The check did not happen in time. I think his awareness is incredible on this play to recognize what Brady was doing. I also would say that Brady gets credit for this, knowing that, hey, I'm this late in the play clock. They're not going to be able to check. And sure enough, they're able to get the big play. It doesn't count. It doesn't hurt the 49ers, but that is something that has been happening over the past month or so that for sure needs to get cleaned up. I don't want to show back-to-back plays here because it felt like, and if you're a track and field lover, the 49ers are a 4x1 team. The 49ers have a bunch of sprinters. And it feels like the Bucs are a long distance, mile, 800, maybe even longer than a mile. But the difference in speed between the two teams showed up big time in this one. And it helps to have 57 and 54 at the second level. You can see right there, Greenlaw is on essentially the hash right now. Fournette is on the hash. He makes the play. You would think right now everybody's blocked, right? He's blocked. He's sealed. He's sealed. All he has to do is worry about the oncoming corner. It would be a 7-yard gain. Instead, because they close so quickly, 57 specifically, it's a 3-yard gain. And the Bucs have to punt. So Tampa Bay has done nothing outside of that Evans play that was called back so far to this point in the game anyway. They're trying to do anything and everything they can to move the ball. So what's an easy way? So to the top of the screen, they're going to fake the run. I got numbers. I got one-on-one, essentially. So he blocks him, and then I'm just one-on-one with the cornerback. Should work, right? In theory, yes. But there's that defensive player of the year guy. Like, that's athleticism, that's speed, they erase and cover so much ground that it looks like on paper or in practice, I'm sure this was a great idea, right? Even when you pause it right here, if he goes outside, he has one-on-one with him. The receiver never has a chance because 97 is smart enough to recognize I'm not being blocked. Quarterback gets rid of it fast enough. No wasted movements at all. That is the defensive player of the year type of play by 97. Special talent. All right, again, obvious passing down. What are the 49ers going to do? They're going to run man coverage. Why is DeMeco Ryans running more man coverage this year? Because he knows he has a guy who can do so. So Evans is in a condensed split right now. It means just he's closer to the line of scrimmage, cut split, whatever you want to call it. He knows, based on film study, I imagine, this is the second time we've shown this, when Evans is in a cut split, condensed split like this, he's probably going to cross the line of scrimmage and run a short crosser. So he's able to run with that. Just watch everybody else in man coverage. Watch him, watch him, watch him. And then you have Hufanga free. And this time, Warner's going to be free. Where is Brady supposed to throw the ball? Who is open right now? And this is why I love switching up who the quote-unquote rat player is, who your hole player is. Because whoever it is, they're just looking to take away Mike Evans. They're going to take away your best, because that's where Brady wants to go, and make literally anybody else beat you. This is going to be a difficult throw. It looks like he's open, but based on the pocket, which we'll get to next, like, there's nowhere to go. And that's been consistent. So you're good on the back end. Everybody's covered. And then we come to the defensive line, where we've been gushing about this guy. Drake Jackson's been coming along as of late, and it's only, these reps are only going to help him get more and more comfortable. Samson Ebukam, but 91 back in the fold has really taken this defense to another level. So they always run little games up front where they're just getting guys on the move. That's a twist where Armstead goes outside, and he splits a double team and affects the throw. Just beating double teams. So he gets double teamed essentially every play, it feels like, against the run. But for him to beat this, for him to split it, and still affect the quarterback, I don't know, man. Good luck, NFL. Good luck. All right, Jimmy Ward time. Over the last couple of games, he's really starting to come on. So this is third down. Again, you have to win your one-on-one battles to get off the field. The Bucs actually have a really nice route combination here, so let's watch it play out. They get their guy, Chris Godwin, who is a good receiver, against the slot cornerback. You're assuming this is one of, the third, fourth best coverage player on the defense. Not the case for the 49ers. So, a way to keep Jimmy Ward on the field because he can make plays like this. Doesn't seem like much, but he understands what Godwin wants to do, probably through film study. He knows where Brady is looking right now. Sits on the route, is able to contest the throw, gets off the field. Continuously, they've been winning their one-on-ones. Consistently, this team has been winning their one-on-ones in coverage, and that's why I feel like they're the best defense in the NFL. Just at every level, they're dominant. All right, so here is a play right before the half, and this is a big play. Over the course of like 50, 60 plays, the offense, they are going to make their plays. We see that on the other side of the ball more often than not. So I want to show this just because it's a good call by Tampa Bay. Let's watch it play out first. So it's cover 2, and Tampa Bay has the perfect route concept on. So cover 2 just means he's going to stay short, flat. He's going to stay short, flat. This safety has the deep half. This safety has the deep half. Fred Warner is going to carry whoever their number 2 receiver is, number 3 receiver is, whoever is the seam vertical guy down the middle. And that's exactly what happens here. So, as you can see, it plays out to a perfect pass. That's the only way that this ball is completed, if it's thrown right on the money. Here's where the real issue on this play is. And I just got done saying that he's been playing amazing. He misses a jam here. So no reroute on number 2 makes this easier, I should say. Right there, if he jams the wide receiver probably widens. Watch Fred Warner's angle here. He's running as if the wide receiver would be wider than his current path right now. And you can see his helmet right there. He's still kind of looking back. So he loses track a little bit, and the ball's just on the money. So, in my opinion, that was just as good as it gets from the offense, right? Good execution all around. It's not like Warner's not in position. Look where he is. Now it looks like he's not, but he's running stride for stride with the wide receiver. Brady puts it only where the wide receiver can make a play. And it's not on Hufanga because Hufanga had a couple vertical routes his way. I know it's not the answer you want, but with no jam and, today's rules, you can hardly touch the receivers anyway. It's just a good play. So those are the type of plays. A perfect pass, flawless execution. That's how teams are going to have to get over. On the 49ers, as we can see, that just doesn't happen. And that's how they get off the field. How do you correct that? You come back to it and watch how Jimmy Ward reroutes the receiver this time. I know he was yelled at in between plays, during the timeout, whatever it may be. So this time, he does his job. He reroutes Godwin, throws him way off his line, which would have been nice on the play before, right? This time he does it, saves a touchdown. Brady and Godwin cry. Incomplete pass. This unit is the best unit in the NFL. They tackle well. They swarm to the ball. They're faster than everybody else. They're in sync, right? Everything is married. The coverage, the pass rush, it's really hard to complain. This is just the first half, but I showed 2 plays. One was called back. The other one was a perfect pass. That play right there probably should have been a touchdown, but when you play with skill, good luck will happen. And we're seeing that time and time again, snap in on snap out. I am excited to see how they play against the Seahawks. I do think the Seahawks receivers and Geno will be able to execute better, but I just don't think they're going to be able to protect. And what we've seen from this defense over the past month, specifically, they're as good as it gets. So as much as we're going to talk about the offense moving forward, as much focus there is on Brock Purdy, this side of the ball and D'Amico Ryans will be the reason the 49ers make it to the NFC Championship and perhaps more.